Hey guys, what's cracking? Godsman here, coming at you with another tier list video. Now, by popular demand, the tier list we're going to be doing today is going to be one that is not your typical, oh, how strong is X deck, or hey, how cool is Y character? No, instead we're going to be saying how much of a bop is Z OST, and I do mean we, because I'm not alone in this video. Say hi, Zenon.
Hello everybody, how is it going? I hope you all have a good time.
We got ourselves some OSTs here up on the block, ranging from the Overdress, Willdress era, and just rocketing on through past the DivineZ era and into DivineZ Deluxe, right? Which DivineZ Deluxe gave us like 3 new OSTs to add to the roster here for a total of 21. Yeah, that's that. When I was making this tier list, I did not expect to have 21 songs to talk about, but shoot, you know what? That just means that the anime has delivered even more bops for us, the audience, to enjoy, right? Now, we're going to be ranking this on a few different factors, but the primary ones are going to be how much of a entertaining song is it, how good of a song is it in the context of the character that it's used for, of the unit that it's associated with, and also if there's any symbolism to it that we can kind of find with it, right? So you may see some like deconstruction of the notes or whatnot. We're going to be geeking out a bit because generally speaking, this is going to be a very subjective tier list, right? And me and my boys are not going to agree on everything, I would imagine, particularly when it comes to placement here, but having said that, I'm pretty sure we can generally trace down where these OSTs should belong relative to each other, because we've got some clear winners and some that are a little bit more in the middle of the road. And that leads me to explaining the tiers here, right? Now, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? Hit or miss refers to OSTs that some may like, some may not like. It's very much a preferential thing, but they're somewhat subjective and dubious in nature, so it's not universally acclaimed. Pretty solid are OSTs that do their job. They're nice and thematic for the characters, but for one reason or another, they don't particularly stand out compared to some of their other OSTs like before and after them. Really good are OSTs that we regard as being very, very strong character songs. These soundtracks can definitely be the favorites for a lot of folks, but they just miss out on peak cinema, which we regard to be the greatest of all these OSTs. These are the ones that are just universally among the best of the best. No one has anything bad to say about these OSTs. These OSTs are iconic. They stand the test of time, and they heighten the scenes that they're played in to an unprecedented degree, to the degree that they may as well be the reason we rewatch those scenes, if I'm being frank, right? Like, that's how good these particular songs are. So we've got a whole range to go through. None of them are going to be outright bad, because I mean, they're the character OSTs for Vanguard. They're all really good bops. And yeah, I think that about sums it up. You got anything else to mention before we go right into the list, Zenon?
Just kind of to piggyback off of what you said. There may be weaker themes, but there is no bad theme.
100%. And now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the list. I hope you enjoy. Now, starting off strong with Yugioh's theme, which, by the way, as you can see down here, we're using units as a representation of their songs because every one of these units are associated with the first time that song has been played prominently, or perhaps sometimes in the instance of when it's most prominently played. There's a couple of exceptions here. I'm looking at you, Bastion. Now, having said that, we're going to start with Yugioh's theme, right? Now, this theme is just iconic, right? Everyone loves Yugioh's theme. It's one of the greatest just because it's very much a hopeful and sort of upbeat tone that you don't see from some of the other themes here, right? Like, it's heartwarming, it's joyful, right? Like, it kind of gives you hope in the fight. And there's so many scenes where this plays where it's one of the more genuine comeback moments in Overdress and Willdress. I mean, shoot, Bahar Nirvana here I chose because it's my favorite like moment of Yugioh's theme, where he has to make that comeback top deck against Greedon and push it from 4 to 7 damage. An absolutely insane play, right? But oh, so cathartic. What do you think about this theme? Where would you put it, Zenon?
Where would I put this? Well, as you've already explained before, the times when he said probably the most played theme in all of the Vanguard anime.
Oh, is it? Is
so,
he said actually like canonically like played the most?
I mean, obviously, that or Akina's theme. I mean, generally protagonists, so they have the most amount of fight.
Yeah, and if you had to decide between the two, it'd probably have to be Yugioh, right? Because Yu's just physically had more fights, I think, compared to Akina.
Yeah.
At least I think so. So yeah, it has been played a lot. And I mean, that's actually something worth noting, right? I'm glad you bring that up because it feels like it's just as good the first time it's played as the last time it's played, right? Like, despite it being played as much as it has, it's just so good quality, you know?
Like, well, the last time I think we heard it was in his fight against Gi.
Yeah, right. Like in the finale, because go figure, right? Yuyu's last fight also played Yuyu's main theme. Now, what I will say about He Said though is that He Said is definitely like a really fun theme, but I also think that it's one of those themes that, despite it being like it's one of those ones where people have kind of come to realize over time that despite it not being quite as popular at first glance compared to something like Breaking the Rock, which we're going to get to with Breaking the Rock, right? If you look in my channel, right, when I uploaded the Willdress themes with most of these OSTs, I've actually uploaded in playlist on my channel, right? This, He Said, actually rivaled and surpassed Breaking the Rock in terms of total view count. So I think at first glance, it's not the most impressive OST, but it's one that has a lot of stay power with you. So I think you should get a lot of credit for that. But is it peak cinema, you think, right? Because I think functionally speaking, it does so much, but like, it's just, it doesn't feel like it's often mentioned in the pantheon of OSTs.
Yeah. So like, if I had any place to guarantee put it, it is a really good character OST. So I do believe it would fit, like, to put it anywhere, it would be in really good. You could like, people obviously can make their own arguments. Some people might put it in peak cinema, others are put a hit or miss. But if you had to ask me, where do you put this? It is really good. It's a very memorable song. When you hear it come up, you know the fight's gonna come a lot more upbeat. It's gonna it's gonna get a lot cooler.
Yeah, like the joy of it, you know, like it kind of like brings us back to our root of like the fun of Vanguard, which that's a part of the symbolism of this fight, you know, is like this fight OST is, it kind of brings you back to the reason why we played in the first place, which is one of the big messages behind Willdress at the end there. We remember like when he's about to take his final turn against Gui and like everyone states the reason why they love playing the game. Like this kind of feels like an encapsulation of that philosophy right there. So I mean, it's pretty epic close to peak cinema, but I think I should put it in really good because I think some people just aren't quite as impressed by it overall. So it's not like He Said is one of those like earth-shattering gangbusters, but no, but there's so much going for it. Like, oh, what do you think? Like top of really good or bottom of peak cinema?
You know what? Do we want to put something in peak cinema so soon, or should we wait a little bit? Maybe. Well,
I mean, all I'm gonna say is like I think the order here shouldn't affect that, right? If we start off with peak, we start off with peak.
We start off with peak, yeah. You know what? Let's put it in peak cinema.
Yeah, I feel like it just deserves it at this point, right? Now, next up is Donji's theme, right? Which, shoot, Silent Bark, that was its name, right? Now, Silent Bark, this one's definitely a bop, but you could also tell that Silent Bark just isn't quite as impressive as something like this, right? Like, it doesn't hold the same emotional weight that He Said has. It's not used as much, and while it is, like, pretty rad, I do have to say that, like, Silent Bark almost feels like I don't like it as much as this one BGM they play. They have it on Hanso's channel, right? It was like one of the first ones they uploaded when like he plays Violence Bruce and he does like Iki Boxe, right? Like it's a good, it's definitely a good song though, you know. But like, I don't think it goes up beyond pretty solid for me. Like, what would you think about it?
You know, I do definitely agree with you. Also, because the person who sings Silent Bark, they have another theme on this list that I enjoy a lot, and we'll get to that one later.
Yeah, that is worth noting. Like a lot of these songs, they're not like one-off artists, like they appear multiple times throughout this, right? With one in particular always bring some bangers to the table here. Okay, so yeah, I don't think there's much to say here. You should just kind of like understand that Donji's has always been pretty middle low. I'd say that Silent Bark kind of represents a good like standard, right? Like if you're above this, you should be really good. If you're at this, then you're about the average like it. But if you're below it, then you're pretty controversial. Okay, so next up we got Megumi's theme. Now, Megumi's theme to Make a Splash. I'm not even gonna lie to you. This is probably one of the ones where I felt like I kind of did it dirty, because at first I thought it was like it would be like down here. I thought it would be like really whack, but then you listen to it more, and and it just starts to like really grow on you. Like there's some sort of like really heartfelt element to it where you can kind of get into the moment. You want to sing along with it. You know, it's like one of those great sing along songs. And then you get up to the DivineZ, and DivineZ makes me like debate, dude. Like that recent fight between Suzune and Megumi, it's so good when she beats Suzune with Jackalope and stuff, and it's like this at first kind of feels like a cute underdog song, but then it turns into like this reinterpretation of the Kang, of like the blackout thing, right? Like this one almost feels like where it is with Yugioh's He Said theme, in that they both represent sort of like the pure unadulterated joy of the fight, and that's the blackout way. Although I think Yugioh's is still better, don't get me wrong. It's very raw, but I mean, I want to say it's really good, but do you have something to like bring it up or down from here?
No, I think, like, even though of how limited it's also been played compared to some of the others, like, I'm pretty sure it has only been played 3 times at the most.
Yeah, like this one is probably worth being considered a diamond in the rough, because when it's used, the character that it's associated with it is just garbage at first, right? Like she is so underutilized despite the fact that Megumi had so much potential as a character. So I think this gets kind of like looked down upon as a result. But then when you see the globe she has in DivineZ and how she's like this absolute badass, this card fighting unit, this song just has like a whole new interpretation. And I'm not even gonna lie to you, I'm just gonna be that guy right now and say that this Make a Splash feels like a better version of what Chris Rain's theme is going to be, but we're gonna get to Brand New way later, and I'll explain why I feel this way. But for now, yeah, I think Make a Splash has kind of come full circle.
I guess you could say Megumi has definitely made a splash in the recent arc of the Lock.
Yeah, and whereas this has gone full circle, this is still brand new. Okay, so we're on to Boss Sagana, and I mean, we're debating between these two. Like, this is hard for me. So like, on one hand, I want to say this because this is one of the most iconic themes in all of Vanguard, right? Like, it's associated with what many argue is best girl. It has this really, really esoteric, large, like greater than life operatic choir to it that gives it its very unique, distinctive flair. This sounds a lot different from most other songs on this list, with the exception of other IRATs songs, but like Serenig, I think is from the same artist, right?
Draw Jewel, Bob's, and both Liel's.
Yeah, so like, and you could tell that like their signature is the operatic notes, right? Which really kind of like give you this feel of like a godlike entity is coming down to cast judgment. So that's its sort of signature motif, and this one does it well, which is what like puts it up here, and it's very iconic. But at the same time, the reason I want to put it to like the top of really good is because I don't think it's as good as its successors, right? Like as a predecessor, definitely sets the bar though. But what do you think? Do you think this is actually like better than what we get later on?
Well, one thing I was definitely gonna bring up is it is the most different from what I know. Like
it's very different.
when you listen to it compared to the others, it obviously has like the slowest start, like with the vocals. Even though Serenade starts a little like has a more build up, the vocals hit immediately.
Yeah, where it's like say da 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 da.
Yeah, and like funnily enough, both the Dark States versions of the themes hit immediately to Keter Sanctuary, and then the other two have a bit more of like a build-up.
Which I can kind of see why, because the antagonistic part of it kind of like hits you, because they're supposed to like menace, they're supposed to like be an oppressive force. Whereas these, they're sort of now I will say this, Liel like is one way, but Boss Sagado is kind of in the middle because Boss Sagado was actually an antagonist deck at first, which is really trippy to think about because when you listen to it, like it's always associated in a very positive light. Like it's a very empowering theme for Mirai when this plays, especially when like here and here's the thing, right? Like even though I think the most iconic instance of this scene playing is when she fights up against Bruce, right? So the introductory fight of this theme, but it has so many other good moments too. When she's able to like pull Drag Beta defensively and then make a comeback turn against you, even though it doesn't work out, that's super inspirational because that's when Mirai sort of like switches as a character and, you know, she kind of sees the light, so to speak, pun not intended on that. But then there's this moment in Deluxe where they actually do a little bit of like an extension of this theme when Mirai is like taking her final turn against Gui, and it's like, oh, it's so good, right? And this will be the only time that we're gonna bring up Deluxe enhancing a theme.
Like, yeah, when Deluxe brought this scene back, it was just like, and you know, I'm pretty sure they used a lot of the budget on. She got a lot in that episode.
Oh yeah, she did. And then she proceeds to 3-0, right? So clearly B-Day was a favorite that season from the writers, right? But I mean, they know who to root for. They know where the money comes from. But having said that, yeah, like this has a lot of really strong moments. So maybe it is just a cinema. Maybe this actually just does surpass because the iconicity of it kind of like does leave a more lasting impression compared to a couple of the others.
I mean, like obviously it's the like between all of the four, it is the progenitor of them. It's the first one that comes, so it obviously has a seniority. And if you were to probably ask people who have seen the device, like just the like standard anime as a whole, and you ask like, hey, like what's the best way? They would probably, most people would probably know Bob's theme over the other.
Oh yeah, I mean, for no other reason, the fact that it came first, it's with the more popular character. Sorry, Michiru. Well, actually, that might not be true at this point. I don't know. But now, having said that, there is one thing that I do want to like say about Boss Saga that might put it out, like Boss Sagada's theme, aka BD's theme. So, Erichklad, which is the name of it. I'm gonna butcher a few of these because I refuse to believe that there's any known language that actually has those names. So this theme is the shortest theme, if I recall correctly. It's under 2 minutes long, if you can believe it. So you don't actually get to listen to it very much, so you have to like loop it pretty often. So content wise, there's not as much of it to enjoy, right? But what do you think that like kind of detracts or adds to it because like it's so impressive for what time it has, or is it that it's sort of it's just like less content, like I was saying?
Sorry, just even with how short it is, I feel like you get the sense, like it doesn't, the theme is almost perfect in a sense because even after I've listened to it, it's not like I felt man, I wish it was longer. It's, you know, it's just that right point of I can listen to it again and then again.
Oh, okay. So it's like more. It's smaller runtime is actually like an advantage in your eyes. Okay, it's going up here then. It's going up to the cinema. It's gone. Okay, so next is Caution, which is illustrated by Garo Irina because this is a pretty iconic moment where it gets drawn. It's top decked by Yugioh and he uses it to come back against Zoxa. Now, Zenon, how about you take it away? Because I know this is like low-key one of your favorite OSTs, like in this entire roster here.
Now, if I was making this tier list and if I was just going completely off of like favorites, this would be number one. This is one of my absolute favorites. There is, but if I had to place it relatively, this would be generally near the top of really good. There is something about this gameplay, because in a sense, this theme only was played twice. It was only used in Yugioh's fights against Zakusa and Taizu.
Yeah,
finally enough,
4 and 8 to be specific.
Finally enough, both the Break users.
Yeah, and not only that, like the way that they're like it's used is really cool as this sort of like comeback theme, right? So Caution, it doesn't really stick around compared to the others, which is definitely going to like hurt it, I think, overall, because without like strong thematic qualities or moments to like tie it together, Caution's gonna lose some value overall as an OST. Because remember, part of these is like the thematic quality of the OST and like how well they've been able to like stick. But having said that, I love Caution as well. I think Caution, here's what I think sets Caution apart from a lot of these, right? A lot of these are character themes. Caution is a battle theme to me. It reads more as the kind of theme to really hype you up about the action there, whereas a lot of these are more about hyping you up about the characters and the vanguards they're associated with, right? Like the big grand moments. So this one feels a lot more active as a theme. It kind of like tries to catch you into the momentum of it, and like it's good because it immediately sweeps you in, right? Like the beginning, like opening tune of it going do 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 do, like it's like something you'd expect from like a racing game or something. Like it's really good, but I think because of that, it has like a lot less substance. It's more functional than it is meaningful to me. So I actually want to like say it's like pretty solid, but it doesn't really feel like it really hits the mark that a lot of these other ones do. But I will admit, it's definitely one to really listen to a lot, right? Like it's easier to listen to, I think, comparatively speaking, because it has less of those sort of like grand choir moments. It's got like less variance in it, so it feels like you get a more consistent stream of like the beats that you're there to listen to the song for, whereas you kind of like get like peaks and troughs with other themes, you know. I'm pointing at this one for a reason. So I want to say it's pretty solid, but I don't know if you'll let me put it there.
I will accept at the most the bottom of really good.
Okay. I'll have to put it here. But remember, I made my case to the audience there, right? Maybe we're gonna get a lot of Caution lovers. Maybe you'll live as a patriot, Zenon, and I never knew.
There was just something about this theme. Because honestly, it feels like it's not connected to Yugioh as a theme, so they have more chances to use this theme in other points, and it would just fit.
Yeah,
please bring
it would have been cooler if it was like an alternative Blackout theme. Personally, I could have seen it, like 100%. Or maybe it's meant to be like an arena theme. I don't know.
You want to know what would honestly would have been funny or cool?
What's up?
Imagine this played on Octana's final chart against Kaizo.
Oh, that would have been a callback. Oh yeah, I mean they've used some other stuff, like where they throw in some of the older like Willdress like themes into it. Like now this isn't the like this is the BGM, not Silent Bark, but the Bruce BGM they played for Taizo when he's fighting against Gyoma's. Really cool callback. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going on to the successor to Energy Clad, which is Vidalvasti. Now Vidalvasti is Michiru's theme, which means it's got some really big shoes to fill on it, right? And let's go ahead and start with you, because I think you're a bigger fan of Vidalvasti than I am overall. So where like would you like, if you just had to place it, would it be like in the really good, the pretty solid, or are we gonna dare for another peak cinema here?
I think it's a really good theme. The one thing, maybe watching through it the first time, I never like experienced it, but when the theme was officially released and you get to that like a minute 20 mark and it becomes all instrumentals and you just feel like
yeah, and then like like it feels like a really nice medieval operatic choir, you know, like especially when you're talking about like grimdark operatic moments, like, and that's so good considering this is also tied to Dragula as like a character theme. Like it's meaty. It's a very meaty theme, and also
and, like,
it feels like
really,
it's different.
Yeah, and it plays at really good moments. Like
yeah, right. Like my favorite moment is when he plays it in his fight against Jinky, right? Well, I mean, I guess I should say Gui, but like it's kind of like a mixture, right? But we'll say Jinky, right? Like it's a really cool theme because it feels like. Because, you know, this entire fight's like a very menacing dragon tree, right? But then, like, whenever Michiru plays it, it's sort of like, it feels fitting for someone who's kind of the god of Vanguard in their world, right?
like, it is just like Michiru. This theme does fit Michiru as a character of just someone who is on another level. There is almost no one that reaches their point.
Right. Like, it's very much like it is with Boss Sagara, right? Like, this whole larger-than-life kind of feel works really well for certain characters. And Boss Sagara, like, I think for Energy Clad's case, like, I don't think it works so much for Mire's character, but it works very well for Boss Sagara's character because she's sort of like this goddess of despair. Like, she is of a higher order than most of the units on Planet Cray, right? This one works for both Michiru and Dragold, right? Like, both of them are, relatively speaking, the top of their verse, like somewhere near the top anyway. So like it holds the theme there. It feels so appropriate from like a musical level there. And then like yeah, you know what? And it's also worth noting that when we get these like music releases, right? Like in the album, this probably had, like you mentioned the 120 mark, right? Like this has one of the best like full OSTs, you know, because the extra bits that you get that you don't hear very much, very peak. Like they add to the song actively rather than make you think, now I have to grit my teeth for 20 seconds of this before I get back to the cool parts. So
No.
Is it peak?
Do we are we just gonna put all of Eric's songs?
I mean, look, if they deserve it, then they get it, right? Like we just have to really. And here's the thing, Zenon, right? I'll mention this to the audience here too. When we finish like ranking everything, we could adjust this as we like and as we see fit, so that like in the greater context and everything, if there's anything that kind of like doesn't sit right with us, we could just make last minute adjustments before we say here's the list. So how about that?
Yeah.
So for now,
You know what?
is it peak?
Is it peak? It's peak.
It's peak. It's peak. Gotcha. So speaking of peak, how about that Breaking the Rock?
Yeah, Breaking the Rock's right after, isn't it?
It's Breaking the Rock, dude. It's Breaking the Rock. It's the one, right? It's like literally the song, dude. Everyone talks about this song. Everyone loves it. Everyone knows it. Everyone wants it to be in their fight videos. Everyone wants to play Youthberg while jamming to this. This theme has made people want to play Youthberg because of it, right? I haven't heard that about like most of these other ones, you know? But people want to play the deck for it. Like that's transformatively good, relatively speaking. Like holy crap, man! This theme is the next level. It's the peak cinema. Like ironically, there's like not a lot for us to say, because what could we say that would possibly bring this down? The moments where it's played are epic. In matter of fact, Breaking the Rock is really noteworthy for like here's the thing. It's not about moments of I wish there was another song that was played here. No, it's that moment where he's fighting against Sophie and they're in his third battle against her, and this doesn't play on Rika's final turn. Like, why is this not the clear song, right? Like so much so that there's this this video got a ton of views. It was someone who basically edited in Breaking the Rock during the full blast turn, dude. Like, that's ridiculous. And that released really soon after the fight, right? Like that crap released, I think, like before the next episode even released, dude. That's insane how much people love this song. It's like basically the top. It just has to be the top. And we don't need a debate about that one. Here's something that is worth debating though. So what are we gonna do about Leonorn's theme? This one's different. Like Urara's theme is, I go back and forth on it, right? But I want to say it's really good personally. But what do you think, Zenon?
Well, it is a good theme. It's never been one of my favorites personally, but you know, I'll listen to it here and there.
Yeah.
Don't talk to Naz about this theme; he will ruin it for you.
Oh yeah. He likes to recite the lyrics, but like twist a few of the words to make it so vulgar, dude. It's so insanely bad. Like, you know what I think about this theme? I think about this from like, this theme is like really good at tugging at the heartstrings, because if you're an Urara enthusiast, you love this song, right? And this song has one moment where, like, I think it's absolutely peak, another moment where I think it's really playing into its strengths relative to its lyrical value, right? So the absolute peak moment is when this plays in Urara versus Yugioh, their final fight, right? Their round 3. And this is so cool because it's when Yugioh's able to break her out of that mentality where she's trying to be a uniformer, she's trying to be the best possible player because like she's really obsessed with this element of improvement, which, by the way, I'm not saying the uniformer's ideology is like automatically bad or whatever, right? That ended up being one of the themes at the end there. It's just that Urara was in it for the wrong reasons and was like kind of corrupting her character in a way. She was losing sight of herself. So when this plays and it feels like she's back to who she was, and then there's this moment, right, where she's like, where she looks at Leonore and like she cries a little bit because she realizes like Leonore hasn't given up on her. And it's like, oh, it's so good. And then there's another moment where this plays and like it's Yugioh round 2, and it's another one where Yugioh's able to bring her back to her senses, and it feels like it's true to heart. So it's sort of like a lesser version of He Said because they have that function. And I think for that matter, it's also a kind of a lesser version of Make a Splash, right? Like it's not as much of a bop as either of these, but they hold the same basic message. So I think like it's sort of clear that way that it should be in the pretty solid, like it's about the average. But do you think it needs to be really good?
No, I think it has a pretty solid spot in pretty solid. But also,
yeah, I mean, just being with Silent Bark is pretty complimentary, you know?
Did you know that Yugioh and Urara's had 2 fights each in an episode 10 within season 1 and season 2?
Episode 10, season 1 and season 2. I'll remember that one. That was a cool fun fact, right? Like, it's almost like they're kind of like doing a mirror, like a history repeats itself kind of moment there, which is pretty cool. I think like in the overall fight quality, the season 1 definitely had the cooler one because I think there's like a lot more like back and forth moments that I dug, but seasons 2 definitely hit harder in the story notes. Like that was a tearjerker, you know? Okay, so next up we've got Into the Cemetery. Now, you'll notice there are 2 bastions there. Into the Cemetery is represented by Prime because that was the most noteworthy unit played in Toya versus Raika, which is where Into the Cemetery plays. And then we've got Break It Down, which Break It Down I put at the end here for the Willdress section because it wasn't in the Willdress album that was released, like the Overdress Willdress album. But having said that, it is a theme that exists for Toya, and it's a lyrical theme, it's a character theme. So it should definitely count. If anything, it should count even more than Into the Cemetery. So let's get Into the Cemetery done quickly. It's the weakest theme here, right? Like, do we even have to make an argument for that?
No, but I did like it. But it's
good. It hits. I like there's one part of it where it feels good, which is like that moment where Bastion Prime is like launching downward, like he's doing like some sort of like Peregrine out like Falcon dive bomb on Youthberg, and it feels like very weighty as he's like trying to clash against him, right? So it feels really good for like a Keter clash. What's up?
This feels like a Fire Emblem theme more than a Vanguard theme.
Oh, that's funny. I said this feels like, I was gonna say this feels like an Elden Ring theme. Like,
I think when it came out,
like, but you and I like get it, right? Like, this doesn't feel quite right for Vanguard. Like, it's so tonally different from the rest, but whereas like its tonal distinction, works out in favor here, but this one it doesn't work out as much. Like they're kind of functionally different, like similar, but they're different at the same time. They're both operatic, but this operatic feels like it belongs in a like a grim dark RPG or some sort of medieval RPG, right? Not in like Vanguard. So it just feels like the black sheep of the entire Willdress album. That's probably the best way to put it. It's pretty good. That's why it's going to be in the hit or miss here, but it's precisely because it's hit or miss. And I think for both of us, it's sort of on the fence. Like every once in a while, you may get a hankering to come back and listen to this one. Maybe if you're doing a Bastion Prime turn, at the 30% of cases, they have to ride it Prime in modern day Accord. But that's about it. That's about where it ends. It's just not the same save power as the other ones. Okay.
I do have it in like on my playlist, and when it comes on, I'll listen to it.
And then it ends, and then you listen to the next one, right? Like you don't like come back to this one very much.
Yeah. Not like constantly replay on it.
Xenon. So
Yes.
Xenon, it's here. So my personal favorite theme in this entire list is Break It Down. I know. It's not Breaking the Rock. It's not Sanctuary. It's not Rezile's theme. It's not Orange Clad. No. It's not any of those. It's Break It Down. And it's not because I'm a Toya fanboy, even though he's a really good character. It's not because I'm a Bastion fanboy, even though he's a cool deck. It's because this is the most epic song, the most Vanguard comeback infused song I've ever listened to. Man, this song is always peak when it's played. Always. Whenever Toya does crap and this song plays, I am a Toya fan. I believe, like, this song makes me think Toya is the best character, right? Whenever it plays, dude. Then when it ends, Toya's back to being top 10. But he's number 1 when this song effing plays, dude. Like when he's fighting against Donji and he's having to like beat out against our rival Bruce with his Bastion Prime, which I know is a little weird to say because Bastion Prime's down here, but you know, when we're talking about that, when that scene where he finally beats Donji, it's so cathartic. It's like the moment you've been waiting for. You've been waiting for it forever. And he goes, break it down. And like, there's this moment where he's fighting against Sam, right? And then like, when it goes, break it down. And like when the down hits and he just like switches his Vanguard into his rest position for declaring the attack. It's like you just hear the down as like an actual downward swing of a sword. Potential order.
I can't remember.
Reference there.
No, it did not play in his fight against Masanori.
I don't think so, but I just put a chord here is kind of a reference to me saying I wish it had.
Yeah, or did it play at the end of the episode? Because this song first came up in like it was the ending song in from the first Yugioh versus Toya fight.
That's another one, dude, right? Like what's cool about that one is this song has range. This song can be either a villain song or like a hero song, depending on how you take it. It's versatile in the way that Orange Clad is relatively versatile. And also Breaking the Rock as well, but it holds that same versatility. So it's just like in the equivalently like God state of flexibility, in addition to just being so cinema. So this one, like, I think is cinema. Everyone will agree. So that's not bias. My bias is saying it's the best out of all of them. But I mean, you got anything else to add about Break It Cinema?
Let's see. I mean, well,
Peek It Down.
That's both of Gyraxia's songs in Peak.
Yep, Gyraxia songs back to back, right? Gyraxia just like giving constant bangers right there when they're able to play a song. And on top of that, I mean, Gyraxia also gave us a pretty nice opening, right? So Gyraxia's been with like Bushy for a little bit here, helping him out, and they're really good. They got good quality. So yeah, this is my favorite theme. Break It Down. It just has the right moments. Like it has the most meaty, heaviest notes out of all of these, dude. Like it is the one song that will like physically compel me to headbang when it plays, right? Even more so than Breaking the Rock. This physically makes me headbang. Like it like if it's able to move your body physically, it's a top tier song. Okay, so that does the Willdress, the Overdress Willdress era. And as you can see, right, like it's pretty positive. We have a lot of really strong peak cinema songs here, which there's definitely going to be a couple that could like go up here from like the from the DivineZ, maybe even a few. But yeah, like Willdress just had some really strong songs, despite what you may or may not say regarding its plot being like iffy and its character progression being a little bit disappointing in some aspects. The character songs were always one of the highlights. Like they low-key carried some instances in the show, so it's no surprise they're on the upper echelon overall. Now let's start off the DivineZ stuff with Rezile's theme, Sanctuary, aka Akina's theme. Now, aka the sack heal theme in a way, or sack crit OT. There's a lot of ways you could take this theme, right? Just from an actual gameplay basis. So Zenon, I know you'd probably expect me to like blabber on and on about this because it's more or less my standard avatar that is associated with this song, but I'm gonna let you have the first bat at it. What do you think about Sanctuary?
It's a song that, weirdly enough, at least when I first started listening to it, the beginning of the song doesn't like have that same, just kind of like hit or feel to it as some of the others.
Yeah,
but
like it's not bassy or impactful the way that like a lot of these are,
But as it goes on, it like does really pick up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like you bring that up because you know what it reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of the one that I'm putting it next to, which is like Caution. Because both of them have a very nice, like, stable tone as they progress throughout the song runtime, right? Like this one's like a really good comeback theme, and just the same with that Caution is, right? And it also sort of feels like less of a character theme and more like a battle theme in a way, but it's very Resile coded because it's got like this supremely hopeful sense. Like when we're talking about a song that makes you feel like you have a light in the darkest tunnel, this song arguably even outweighs He Said that way, like just in that specific aspect. So it's brilliant. But having said that, it doesn't feel like it's making anyone's top list. It feels like it's around the average, It is sort of the underlying motif of DivineZ as a whole, but it's one that I feel doesn't really have enough presence. So I can agree with you there. Now, having said that, I think I'm going to wonder, is it going to be the top of Pretty Solid, or is it going to be hanging with Caution near the bottom of Really Good, you think?
Top of Really Solid or bottom of Really Good? Which one do I think it fits more to?
Yeah, and like the vocals, I will say, like the vocals on this one are nice, but I actually like there's one vocal, like the higher pitched vocals I don't like so much on Sanctuary, but like the deeper, more masculine vocals are like so nice on Sanctuary. So it almost feels like that sort of duet feel that goes on with this song. They're sort of like pulling against each other in a way. So that's something, because I may as well start bringing up like the nitpick right there if we're really trying to distinct, like if one has more complaints than the other, then that may just make the difference.
Yeah, probably.
So is this correct? Xenon, why is it not this?
Why is it?
Why is it not this?
What? Nah. I will not let Katsu be put that low, okay?
Yeah.
This team is like it goes way too hard for what it should.
For what it should do. You know what? Okay. And I think just because this theme really embodying hope, I think to the greatest degree, yeah, I think I'll put it here. I think overall lyrically speaking, it's not as impressive as a lot of others, but it makes up for it in its thematic quality, right? So it should be here, right? Because like these, I think lyrically are like about where like these are, but they're just like not as thematic. So that's probably where it is. This one's just like lyrically like one of the best ones is the bread and butter, but they just don't use enough butter on their bread like enough times for Caution, which it's very underutilized. Okay, so Monofuture or something like that is the name of this one. This is Varga Dragress's aka Now's theme. I mean, really good or peak? This is the question. Personally, I would put it at the top of really good. I think it's one of the best of this category, right? It is very above average, but I don't think it's among the legends. What do you have to say about it though?
I mean, you just kind of took the words right out of my mouth. It is a really good theme. And it's actually, fun fact, the first DivineZ theme that got played.
It is true. Yeah. Sanctuary didn't get played until Akina takes his like final turn. So now gets first clap with this. And what's interesting about this theme too is I feel like this theme is one of those themes where as I listen to it, I sort of get bored with it, right? In some ways, but like it's also like Caution that it has such a strong start, dude. Where it goes do 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 do. Like that's so fire, right? But then like the vocals, like sometimes they hit, and then I will say this theme I think is better in the middle of a fight than it is when you just listen to it, right? Sanctuary is the same way. There are some where they're just as good either way. There's some where it's like they are the fight. That's what Break It Down is for me sometimes, maybe even Breaking the Rock. But it's one of those things where you just realize that this one isn't quite as good. But you know what really propels it? Why a lot, like, people will say it's peak cinema, but I think it's because of Now and Varga, right? Like, the fight scenes that it's used in really elevates this song, even though I think empirically speaking, well, relative or subjective perception on, you know, music quality, right? You know, yada yada. Like, more empirically speaking, I think it's just like a above average song. So let's talk about Brand New. So Brand New, I feel like it deserves to be like right here with Leonorn, you know, because they have so much of like the same feeling to them. It's just that one, but it feels like it's lesser than Leonorn just because Leonorn's actually like Leonorn's theme here. Urara has had more heartwarming moments. She's had more character significant moments where the impact of this theme and its symbolism when it plays, like, to be a song of healing is what I like to interpret this theme as. This does that job, but Brand New only like has one moment where it plays really good, and the other moment is just kind of like only plays because it's Makoto's song, right? So what I mean is, when Makoto fights against Taizo and she has that big comeback turn where she nearly wins, like, it's really good because it feels transformative. It has a similar vibe to when Erichiclad is played for Mire when she's fighting against Yugioh. In their second fight, I will specify, right, at the first fight. But then when she fights against Yuna in this place, I'm like, oh yeah, it's just Makoto's song, but it just feels like its message isn't really hitting here in that fight the same way. So I don't think it lacks strong identity to like anchor it down. And it is a fun fight, like a fun fight song, but it's one of those songs that are, it's a lot like the theme down here with Into the Sanctuary, where you only play it because you're kind of running into that specific instance of playing the deck and doing the turns out. Like maybe you're just playing on Untap or whatever, and then it's like, oh, I'm doing Makoto's Divine Skill, I might as well play this theme because it's associated with it, right? Like, it's not really that good on its own merits, which is sad because I think it's actually, lyrically speaking, about at the level of like these songs. It's just that it doesn't have enough thematically and cinematically to like really anchor it. So, I mean, is there anything that I could, like, you want to bring up about it, or do we move on to the banger?
I mean, I will mention, kind of like some of the other songs, it was one that, like, I listened to it, and then I'm like, oh, I like this song, and then like, or it's like, yeah, it's okay, and then I listened to it again, and like, oh, I mean, I'm starting to like it now. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, it was a song that grew on me, but I will admit, it's also the case of the character that the song is connected to hasn't had enough like time or fight to have this be as impactful as some of the others.
Yeah, that's true. Like, this is pretty good, and this will probably elevate when it gets to like really hit its full circle, which is the other reason why Make a Splash is up here, because I think DZ is what saves Make a Splash from being down here, right? Like, if we were talking like pre-DivineZ, it would be down here. But it's not, right? Because Megumi's character has progressed to a point where she can sort of transmogrify the significance of this song, and Makoto's not there yet. Okay, so the Apocalypse is next. Oh my god. So here comes the first...
Let's get this over with. This song is peak. Flying Maya's cool. Duel's cool. And then when they remixed it, it made it even better. The song is peak. There is no debate.
Yeah, dude, that bit where it's Sumo versus Suzune, and then they hit the extra, like, organ note when he does the divine skill activate, and it's like, oh, it's like chef's kiss. Like, God, dude.
It's even when he's riding it, it's like the pause and the orchestral, like,
right, as he goes into Nexus, and it's like, oh, dude. And you know what's so great about it? Like, the way that, like, that organ riff, like, that which adds to this theme and sort of, like, spaces out its, like, strong early moments, like, the tempo of it, it's very reminiscent of Velocity that way, right? Like, you have this sort of, like, grim, dark, umbral theme to it, which is cool because they're both, like, these very larger-than-life Dark States units with some pretty imposing players at their back. You know, both fightaholics as well, so go figure. So it fits so well. It's almost like they wanted to harken back DivineZ just a tad when they were trying to expand on the Apocalypse here. But also, the Apocalypse is one of the most shocking songs because, you know, we mentioned it before, right, Zeno, where a lot of these songs can kind of be spun in different directions when you think about, like, good guy, bad guy, hopeful, despair, power, inspirational, like, these different feels. The Apocalypse actually kind of did that. When Suo played it, right? Like, when Suo has it play as he's fighting Susune, like, this is, like, a victorious song. I never thought I'd see the day. This song was always, like, associated with doom and the death of all things, right? But clearly, it can be spun. It can be spun, which is so good, so top class, right? Like, so now where does it go relative to peak cinema, right? Like, it's better than DivineZ, it's better than Ironclad, it's probably better than He Said. So do we just throw the three edges like in the same tier here, like right next to each other? Yeah, it feels right, you know. Like what? Oh, wait, hold on, let me ask you real quick, is this your favorite OST?
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, moving on. So Serenig is next, and Serenig is one of those themes where I'd say that it's got the nice sublime mix between strong character moments and also good character associated with it, and also the lyrics of it are just amazing, right? So it's got your three basic pillars of symbolism, moments, and also musical value, like all tied together. It's got the beautiful orchestral sing-along that we get with Ericklad and DivineZ, and we're also going to get with Seville in a bit, but this one right here, I think it's a little bit more of like a hit or miss relative to the top rungs here. Like, personally, I actually think it's greater in raw musical quality than either of these, personally. Yeah. Right? It's just that also, it's not quite as iconic. Okay, I do like this song more, so Xenon, have your say.
I mean, it's just like, outside of the one, like, outside of Erica's fight with when it played, when it was just like future Hikari that got this theme, the like way it built up and the moments that it played just hit. So like when it's building up on Erica's final turn against Hikari, and it's euphoric. Like, it is just so great. And honestly, that build up, like,
clash in the sky and like lock hands with each other. It's great.
That build up is just like honestly what makes the whole scene as well.
Yeah, like, and let's not even forget its initial play against like Akina, right? Where it's the same way where just when you think Akina has like sealed the deal because he hit the miracle, then this song plays. Right? Like, it almost feels like when Aizen stops Ichigo's theme, you know? It's like, it's basically the Curb Your Enthusiasm moment.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely put it over features. Like,
yeah. And, like, and this is the thing. Like, which wins out? Is it, like, is it significance or is it raw musical value? Because significance, Ericklad probably outweighs Serenig. But like, it's so close neck and neck that I want to say that Serenig is better than Ericklad. And you know what? Let me just do one thing real quick.
You want to know? No. You want to know something?
What's up?
I definitely tell you. Season 4 is going to make sure this theme gets hit. This
theme's gonna like get upgraded, right? Because that's what the Ericklad actually got an upgrade. This hasn't gotten one yet, right? But this one, at the same time, is it just to me or like? Because here's the thing: this is another one where it's like it builds up, right? But then as it continues playing, it's like it's making love to your ears, and you just want more to happen. So like, I regret when it leaves, when it like finally hits its runtime. So it's like, because of how impressive that is, this is where I'm like, I'm going back to the runtime matters here, because I'm like, man, you get more of this versus this.
Yeah. But you want to know something?
What's
More so as an argument for Serenga. Now imagine, picture a perfect world in which our dreams come true, and Erica wins the deluxe.
Yes, I am seeing it, my brother. Michiru has
and
fallen beneath her.
And this theme plays right on her final turn.
Oh, like the final judgment kind of theme.
Yeah. Honestly, if that were the case, I'm pretty sure this theme would just shoot up to like best of the best.
I mean, this thing would be like overtaking Breaking the Rock because, you know, Raika is kind of a clown these days anyway, right?
But that is in a perfect world. But for now, I
We're
think
not
its
there
current
yet.
placement, I think where its placement is perfect.
Yeah, it's like it's right there. It's not quite the top 3, but it feels like a top 5 song, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it does. And also it just fits like the unit theme because this unit is she basically represents, she's a like living, breathing, probably Deus Ex Machina, right? In form. Like she literally, like this unit when it's played in the game is a Deus Ex Machina to stop like Blankmire and Suo, but then also she comes in to save Rezile at the key moment, like from an alternate universe. Like it's so otherworldly that it really hits well with the vocals, just in the context of like the Cray lore. Okay, so next up is another one where, okay, so here, this one right here, oh God. Okay, so Suatu, again, like I said, it sounds like I'm saying a foreign language whenever I talk about these, you know, OST names, but here's the thing. My bias says this. My objectivity says this. Where do you stand?
I mean, we were there. We did react to episode 11 together, and when that theme hit,
that scene hit, right? Like this is another one of those. This is one of those OSTs where it kind of makes the moment. You know, Leviatras Imperio, pretty cool effect, not that cool. Pretty cool design, not that cool. As a matter of fact, like some people even argue that the original Leviatras design looks cooler than Imperio. Like oof. And of course, it's like Kuwon's just kind of like doing stuff, but the song, dude, the song, like when this first hits and you hear the piano, dude.
Yeah,
like this has like the best piano riff out of all of these OSTs, dude, bar none. It's got such good keys, man. And if that wasn't enough, right? Every time it hits, it makes the moment. When Kuwon is making his final turn against Akina, huge. When he's making his final turn against Sybil, huge. His final turn against Raika, huge. Like that bit, like right before this scene plays, where he's like, "You don't want to go without a single win, right? Don't you agree, Leviatras?" Like he's communicating this unit, and then like he goes on to his turn, he persona writes, the theme plays, and he takes out the clown, bro. It's so good.
So great,
Ooh.
yeah.
Ah. Yay, nay?
I think
it's hard.
You know what? Crazy thing?
You're gonna ask for it to go up, aren't you?
No. Let's move He Said down. To top of
fair.
Really
fair. That's fair. The Dragon Empires can chill with each other a little bit. He said he's just gradually losing weight. It's like, wait a minute, I thought I was the most used song that never dropped in quality and represented hope. And it's like, yeah, now you can be in hope tier with Rezile. Meanwhile, we'll talk about God tier more. Okay. Speaking of, so I mean, so Sable, now, when this right here, Sable versus Serendig, this is the same thing that I realized as what occurred with Yu Yu's theme He Said versus Breaking the Rock. where you had an obvious winner at the start, but then gradually it's not as impactful over time. People don't remember it quite as fondly as the others, even though it's really good and everyone knows it's high quality. Like, objectively, this is one of the better ones for sure. But I don't think it's as good as Serennic. Like, because Serennic has aged like wine by comparison. Good for the wine-colored hair girl. But Sable is still really good. I personally think Sable is somewhere around here, though. But a lot of people would say it goes up here.
I replayed this song at least once every time it comes up.
Okay, so you definitely have more of a love for it, which is good because, like me, I'm too focused on replaying Kuon's theme. Like, I'll let you guys in a little secret. Kuon has my favorite DivineZ OST, and it for the longest time had my favorite. Now it's my second favorite. We're gonna get to that, but I played this like several times. I played this like every day, dude. I loved this song so much. I love this song so much that the only reason I don't play it whenever I'm doing Resile turns is because people will say I'm playing the wrong theme. That's the only reason I don't do it, but I connect with this theme more when I'm doing like big comeback moments. which makes some folks proud, I'm not gonna lie. So Sable here, now we can both agree it's not quite as good as this, so it's not gonna break here. So let's talk more about where it's at relative to these three. Like if you were making this tier list, where would you put this one's in on? With how this tier list currently is.
May I make some more crazy suggestions?
Don't you dare.
Nothing's moving down a slot.
Okay.
But we take, and it's gonna be a crazy jump. You can, but if you feel like we should keep it as is, or we switch Hikari and Michiru.
Oh. So like this.
Yes.
I'm oddly fine with that. That's so weird because these usually go together. But you know what now? You know what? A friendship ended with Dradshield. Leo Laborda is my new same band friend.
I mean, hey, all of their songs, I called it.
Yeah, they're all here, right? Because they all work for the same reason, right? And the same reason why these work is also kind of the reason why this doesn't work as much. Sorry, Into the Cemetery. You won't be alone there for very long. Now, okay, I can agree with this. Now, let's move on to this, which is Fatal Finale. Now, here's me. I personally put it down here.
Oh, really?
I think this is just this, but worse.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I can be convinced to throw it up here, though. To, like, somewhere up here. Maybe here? Here's the thing. I hear the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and I'm like, why is my Varga Drag Race theme off tune? That's what I hear when I listen to that tune.
I mean, it is supposed to be a chaotic theme. It is like a theme that doesn't really have any rhyme or reason. It is a once proud warrior now just going on a darkened rampage.
Yeah, thematically it works, but you know, I'm glad you point that out because I think that's the thing that really, like, that's the crux of my dissatisfaction with Fatal Finale. It doesn't have a good flow to me.
That's really because I do enjoy this thing.
Yeah, okay, so you can jive with it a little bit more. I don't jive with it as much. It's just like I listen to this and like, I can't really wrap my head around it. I can't really vibe with it as much as this one, right? And here's the thing, I like Bonaventure like a lot, but this one's more of a because of the moments it in thing, and I just think this one's just like even less than that, right? Like it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, because this only did get one chance to play.
Mm-hmm. Well, no. Didn't it? Wait. No. Was it this theme? No, it wasn't this theme that played when Now fought against Etika, right? It was her original theme? Okay.
It is, like, because that's Sybil's theme.
So this is Sybil's theme, right? Okay. Damn. Sorry, Sybil. Okay, so Zena, if you were placing it, where would you play it?
Honestly, I would place it right where you have it. I personally find more enjoyment of it over something like Silent Bark, and
Right. I personally like Silent Bark a little bit more, but I think because you see some of the good in it, we should probably come to a compromise that it's like at the very top of pretty solid. Like it is solid. People like it as an alternative to this song, but I think most people can also agree that this song, being the predecessor and also being used better, is like the better version, right?
It does get used better.
Yeah, I guess it's not that much worse than this song, so it's probably good that it's just one tier lower now that I think about it. Maybe I'm just being a little mean, putting it all the way in like hit or miss, man. I'm not as mean when I put this in hit or miss though, huh? This song is weird. This song is really weird for me, man. Like, here's the thing. It's got cool moments, like, that make me think that it should be, like, here. Or, like, here, right? Mainly the drum solos where, like, it's really hitting the bass and the drums. Like, when he's doing Kagetsu in his final fight against Akina, presumably it's gonna be his final fight, right? And he's, like, doing the chain summoning of like the different mythishes, and they have the drums like hit as like do as like I think he's trying to like call forth the second mythish when that moment hits in the OST there. By the way, this one's name is Lunatic Keeper. I think it was worth noting that we even though it's not out yet, we did get like confirmation what his name is. So I don't know. Zenon, help me out here. Am I being mean with this one?
I feel like if you're putting it in hit or miss, I feel like you're being mean. I'm saying, like, I feel like you're, because again, it's a good song, but it's just, because also, does it truly fit Kagetsu? Does it fit Face Ruger?
Yeah, right? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I think the better OST is the non-character OST that plays for him, particularly, like, when he first rides Vaserug, and they do, like, it has, like, a very nice, mystic, mysterious, almost Harry Potter vibe, and then it crescendos into something a lot more, like, operatic, and then, like, that actually gets enhanced. That BGM is the thing that kind of gets a little bit of an enhancement in the final fight along with Lunatic Keeper. And funnily enough, Lunatic Keeper isn't on Kagetsu's final turn of that, like, his last fight of the season. No. It's that BGM I'm talking about. I forget what Hansop calls it. I just kind of prefer things by his names because we lack an equivalent right now. So, like, I actually think that one kind of fits better than this one, right? Which is what gets me about it.
But yeah, no, I can also agree with that.
Okay, we'll put it at the very top of hit or miss for now. Once we put this last two, if we want to shift it, we can shift it. Because these last two can shake things up. So, next up is Artisaria's theme, which is the only theme on this list where I don't know what its name is. There's kanji for the name, but I don't think anyone has a localization of it set. So unless you know what it is, Zenon.
Nope, got no idea.
Okay, so we'll just call it Suzune's theme, right? Suzune's theme is pretty good, but how good is it? Because I feel like it's in the really good tier. I just don't know where it would go. But I have to consult you on this one, Zena, because I know you are an Artisaria fiend. You are a Suzune man. But, no, not that way. But, what do you think about the theme song?
I mean, it's funny how, I think she actually had the most played theme in season 3 of DivineZ.
Oh, well, yeah, her theme gets played 3 times in all 3 of her fights, right?
Yeah.
I agree. Her theme gets played more.
So like, it definitely does have that more. Like, people will obviously hear it more. I don't know. It's like I like the theme, but obviously I don't think I would it's weird, and it's gonna admit it. I think where you have it right now is a good spot.
Huh. Yeah, I just gotta put it there as a default to like put it somewhere and really good. But yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense, right? Like, it sort of feels like it's, you know what it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of like Resile here, right? Where it doesn't hit very tonally. It's more of a softer theme, which doesn't have more impactful beats, but it's like really good overall because it kind of has this, it feels like this sort of Myth and Roid kind of vocalization, which really adds to the whole like Cyberoid like theme that Artisaria's got going on.
Because I was gonna bring it up. The fact is, the theme is very robotic. It's almost monotone. Like, it kind of sometimes feels not monotone, but just like, obviously, it's very unexpressive.
Yeah, which is its theme, of course, but that does hurt it musically in some ways. So it's sort of like weird where it's like it kind of has to hamstring itself to stay in character. That's so weird, but it's kind of cool. And the character associated with it is one of the best in the deluxe arc. And also, I think it's like a very pretty theme. It's just that, you know what? This theme right here is probably going to get an expansion on it when Suzune has like a pretty crucial like character reversing moment to sort of like finally break her free of her family. This is probably going to get like a more upbeat localization, or not localization, lyricization.
What's its name? I can't remember. Once Artisaria gets herself a new form, totally trust.
Yeah, so like this feels like it's at its base position right now. It's one of the newer themes, of course, so recency bias could have played a factor here, but I think we're actually kind of objective with saying that I kind of want to put it like this. You know what? We'll just put it like here. I think I like putting it next to Resile because they have a similar feel in that like it's more about the song is less about like how good they are to listen to and more about what they represent. Like that's kind of where they're at as OSTs. And this one is a functionality thing, so they feel like they're on the same wavelength there.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the last theme. This theme has one time it's played. One time.
I mean, because
that's it.
Because it was played in the last episode of the current season.
Right, like it's that freaking new. And if that wasn't enough, this is also played for an Akina fight. And this is what I like to consider like Akina's actual like true character theme. Like this is sort of like Rezile's theme. I think this is Akina's theme as a character because it hits in his pivotal moment as a character and probably his most transformative fight, a fight that's even more transformative potentially than his fight with Suo. I think it belongs somewhere in peak cinema. This moment made this fight for me. This fight was an okay fight. It had some decent back and forth. I like some of the twists, like how Akina fails to initially kill, even with the OT. And of course, Kagetsu has a couple of really cool moments with how like his theme songs are expanded and feel like a bit better. And also like how Kagetsu kind of has his own internal realizations regarding like his hangups with Ruka. But those are just things that make it like about a nice average fight relative to Deluxe. This made it one of the best fights in Deluxe. This song right here, this moment where he top 6 Rifi's store and he calls out, he finally is able to have the Mythos respond to him, right? And that whole sequence where Rezile reaches out to the moon gate and then he gives up the side like, oh man, a true beast of the moon, the other miracle shining through space. Koru. Kiseki no Genmaju, Rifi stood. Oh, it's so good. I love this song. And shout out to Handsoap again, by the way. He actually made like this song again. He actually ripped it and used AI to like kind of like get the general song going. It sounds pretty good, even though it doesn't capture the lyrics at all. It's like it's like a no lyric version, right? Me personally, I feel like it's chilling somewhere around like here, but I shouldn't. I think it's irresponsible because it's only got one moment, but that moment is like one of these moments. So it's like, where do we go from here?
Well, let's just start asking ourselves the question. Do we like it better? I mean, well, actually, no, if we keep asking this question, if we keep it, it'll end up probably right at the
It'll just leapfrog, bro. It'll just leapfrog.
Oh, this is some tough decisions to make. There we are. Well, gotta think about this.
Personally, my personal says this. You're probably not as A here, so you could like.
I would definitely like, yeah, like right there.
But like I bought like all my days of working security and bopping to this, right? Whereas this is such like a new kid on the block. Like, am I about to betray Overdress like that? Am I actually about to do that crap? But like, you know what? No, I should. I love Reziel. And this theme didn't work for it. This theme works for him. It's so good. Like, I crave this to happen again next season. This is one of the things that I'm gonna look forward to the most in next season is to hear this theme, bro. I'm gonna listen to Ruka's theme and think, oh, that's pretty cool. Anyway, where's this theme again? This has a name, by the way. Let me look this up. I just typed it in recently, so I have to remind myself what this name was. This name was just a second. I know I had this. Noisolator, that's his name. It's Noisolator is the name of that OST. Now, Noisolator here is pretty noise. You get my griff.
It is in fact very noise.
Come on, Zenon. Is this it? Is this where we end up in life?
I think this is where we end up in life.
All right. Is there anything else we want to like adjust about this tier list here, or is this basically just our consensus overall? Because I like this list a lot. I think this list really expresses like our cumulative like thoughts on these OSTs, and I also like the stagger effect, right? Where it's like you get 2, 4, 6, and then finally 9 here, right? Like it just gets up from there, and this just really tells you that Vanguard OST, the character ones are just so good, and there's so many of the BGMs that people just love and they want to play it over and over again, right? Like the anime and the music is one of the highlights of this whole freaking card game, dude. So being able to do a tier list like this, like I think really puts that into full bloom. Just the perspective of like what it is that we really anchor our enjoyment of this game towards. So our favorites, are chilling at the top here. And then we've got stuff that I think people would have expected to be our favorites, chilling like right below it. Like all the IROTS gang is just like chilling here. They're just chilling. Like Dragul's a little sad that he can't be a part of, but like I'm sorry, it's just a couple of golden chickens that are like coming up here to like take his place real quick. It's kind of funny that Overdress is like right above Dragul, considering how the deluxe match between them just turned out, huh?
Yeah.
But like that's besides the point, of course. So this is our tier list. Now, again, just to mention, this is our subjective takes, right? We believe the best of the best is Break It Down, The Apocalypse, and then you've also got a lot of strong, like, best, like, The Old Boy, Breaking the Rock. You've got Sarah Nig, who's, like, the new girl counterpart to the old girl, Erich Galad, and then you just go down from there. Some of the weakest ones is Lunatic Keeper and also Into the Cemetery, because they just feel like they have a big discordance. You have stuff like Fatal Finale and Brand New, where they're pretty good, but it feels like they can't quite crack above the average because there's nothing that extraordinary about them that we can latch onto. And then you have some of the really good songs that just aren't really quite peak because there's some factor or another that holds them back. Monifiture, Brand New, like these ones are great and memorable, and maybe even like I mentioned at the very beginning, these are capable of being personal favorites for a lot of people, right? That's why they're in really good. They're just not universally that way, we feel. So now that I've explained that tier list again, and there you go. Bon appetit. This is our tier list here. I'm very proud of it. I'd definitely be wanting to post this over, like, in the Discord once this video's up, right? Just to, like, kind of tout the child we have birthed to send on. Is there any final remarks about this tier list?
All of these songs are peak in, like, general, like, they're all still really good. You should all take some time, give them all a listen.
Definitely. You give these a listen if anyone hasn't listened to these again, you know? And I guess maybe even make your own tier list. You know, think about, like, you know, what did we do wrong? Is Brand New secretly, like, gonna slay all these other OSTs? Are you gonna whip out your violin and show me how Lunatic Keeper is actually the most, like, lyrically sound song out of all of these? Let us know. You know, I'm definitely willing to listen to all of those talks, and I'm looking forward. I'm quite eager to see what people's takes on this are, because I think we took a few risks with this list here. I think we did. Things like Caution was a risk. Also kind of took a risk with putting Serenig very high, relatively speaking. Putting Fatal Finale been on the low side might be considered like kind of a hot take here. Same with Bassrook's theme. You know, we really just made our calls here. We put like our line in the sand here, and I'm curious to see what everyone else's line in that same beach sand is going to be like. So let us know down in the comments below. And if you did like this tier list, then definitely let us know with a like, a comment, and also a subscribe. And if you want to see more tier lists like this, then comment what other tier lists you would like to see in future uploads. And of course, if you're looking for other Vanguard uploads in the meantime, then look no further. We do all sorts of Vanguard content here. Top 10s, discussions, fight nights, anime reactions, custom card discussions, the whole shebang, so check it out. And of course, if you're looking forward to the next video, then turn on that handy dandy notification bell so that you don't miss another of my uploads. And with that said, take care, and God bless y'all.
Have a good day, everybody.